Good day, everyone. Thank you for watching. In our previous session, we explored the fascinating world of autosomal DNA, those 22 pairs of chromosomes that tell us so much about our recent ancestors. But there's more to the story. We haven't yet touched on the 23rd pair, the X and Y chromosomes. These are indicated by red in this diagram. These are the ones that determine our biological sex, and they follow very specific non-random paths through our family trees. Furthermore, there's a third type, mitochondrial DNA or mtDNA. This is passed down exclusively from mothers to their children. Today we're going to look at how their unique inheritance patterns help us to trace lineage back much further than autosomal DNA alone. So let's get started. Remember this diagram? Each block represents one of your genetic ancestors. The blue ones represent the female and the pink the males, from whom you've received some DNA. Going back in time, there are some ancestors from whom you received no DNA at all. Those are represented by the white areas. The further back you go, the more of these gaps will show up. It's important to understand that those white areas will be different in different places for your siblings, parents, or cousins. It's random, the result of the unique recombination that makes you you. The autosomal tests offered by all the companies focus on those first 22 pairs of DNA. We have seen how that DNA is inherited from our ancestors. The X and Y chromosomes making up that 23rd pair each follow their own unique inheritance patterns. You all receive one chromosome from your mother. If you're a male, you receive one Y from your father. If you're a female, you get a second X from your father. These are part of the double helix DNA found in the nucleus of nearly every cell and the blueprint for creating the unique you. They're also give the blueprint or instructions on how each cell can be replaced in your body as they die, which they do throughout your life. Mitochondrial DNA is quite different. It is circular in shape, located outside the nucleus in what is called the mitochondria of our cells. It follows its own unique inheritance pattern, being only inherited from your mother, who got it from her mother, and so on. Let's look at xDNA. This chromosome follows a very specific and lopsided path through your tree. If you're a male, the rule is very simple. You have only one X, and you inherited it entirely from your mother. It will be a recombined mixture of her two chromosomes, just like the other 22. For females, it's different. A woman inherits two X chromosomes. One is a mixture from her mother, but the second one is special. It is 100% copy of her father's single X. Because a father only has one X to give, he has nothing to mix it with, so he passes it to his daughter completely unchanged. This means the xDNA path is broken every time it hits two men in a row. For research, this is incredibly useful. In either case, it means that if you have an X match, you can immediately cross out entire branches of your tree. You don't even have to look at them, because it is impossible for you to inherit that chromosome from any of them. For a male tester, xDNA comes exclusively through lines that contain no consecutive males. This fan chart makes it visually obvious. Large portions of the tree are permanently excluded. Notice something important here. Unlike the random gaps that we saw earlier with autosomal DNA, these exclusions are fixed. They are identical for every male. This gives us a very stable, predictable filter for narrowing down matches. For a female, the pattern is more complex because she inherits xDNA from both parents. However, a similar rule applies. Any branch with two consecutive males cannot contribute. Look at how different this chart appears from the male version. More of the tree remains in play, but the excluded portions are still fixed and predictable. Whether you're male or female, when you find an X match, you can confidently eliminate entire branches without even investigating them further. The only company that tests and reports on Y-DNA is Family Tree DNA. This test is somewhat more expensive than the autosomal one. Only biological males have Y-DNA. It is passed down only from father to son, unchanged except for small, random mutations that occur over the centuries. So, ladies, if you want to examine this for your own ancestors, you will have to convince a brother, male cousin, or some other relative descended from your patrimonial line to take the test. There are several levels of the test, but the big Y700 is the one most likely to provide meaningful results. It can place two men on the same or neighboring twig of the paternal tree. In my own case, it took 2 years from when I tested until a meaningful match appeared. Until then, no one else in that line had been tested. Our common ancestors were our seventh great-grandparents. As more people take the test, the likelihood of you finding one will increase. The major lesson here is be patient. The only company that tests and reports on Y-DNA is Family Tree DNA. This test is considerably more expensive than the autosomal one. Only biological males have Y-DNA. It is passed down only from father to son, unchanged except for small random mutations that occur over the centuries. So, ladies, if you want to examine this for your ancestors, you will have to convince a brother, male cousin, or some other relative descended from your paternal line to take the test. There are several levels of the test, but the big Y700 is the one that most likely will provide meaningful results. It can place two men on the same or neighboring twig of the paternal tree. In my own case, it took 2 years before a meaningful match appeared after I took the test, until no one else in that line had been tested. Our common ancestors were our seventh great-grandparents. As more people take the test, the likelihood of you finding one will increase. The major lesson here is be patient. Y-DNA is unique because it follows one single path through the family tree, the direct paternal line. There's no mixing from other ancestors. That makes it incredibly powerful for confirming or ruling out shared paternal ancestry, especially when the paper trail is thin, contradictory, or completely missing. It's also invaluable in cultures where surnames shift from generation to generation, such as patronymic or farm name traditions. Because the Y chromosome preserves the biological line, even when the names don't, Y-DNA can also reveal cases where the documented father is not the biological father. This is important for accurate genealogy, but can be emotionally sensitive. So, a word of caution. You may not want to discover that your grandfather was not really your father's biological parent. And once you do know, well, you can't unknow it. Mitochondrial DNA lives inside the mitochondria, tiny structures inside each cell but outside the nucleus. They act like power plants, storing and releasing the energy cells in our bodies need. Only the mother's egg supplies them. So all of us inherit our mitochondrial DNA solely from our mother. Unlike the long paired chromosomes in the nucleus, mtDNA is a tiny circular molecule with only a small number of genes. Because those genes control the essential energy-producing processes vital to life, most mutations are harmful and disappear immediately. This means it changes very slowly over time, even more slowly than Y-DNA. For genealogy, this means mtDNA traces a single, unbroken maternal line, but most matches point to a shared ancestor far beyond the reach of paper records. Most recent common ancestor of your closest mtDNA match may have lived thousands or even tens of thousands of years ago, and that's not very useful for genealogical purposes. Just like Y-DNA, mtDNA testing is only available through family tree DNA, and it is also significantly more expensive than autosomal tests. That concludes our session for today. I hope that what I've shown you has piqued your interest in family history and the role of DNA. It's a fascinating journey of discovery, and there's always more to learn. If you would like to take the next step, I highly recommend Legacy Family Tree webinars. Look for Blaine Bettinger's Foundations of DNA series, and then there's his new one that's coming up, Advanced Topics in DNA. This series starts on Wednesday, January 21st. To watch past webinars, you must be a member. It's not very expensive, and you can get 15% off by using the code AI Course 15 for the remainder of today, or Thomas 15 most of the time. But here's an important tip. Roots Tech 2026 is the world's largest genealogy conference. It's coming up from March 5th to March 7th. Online attendance is free, and registration is open now at rootstech.org. Hundreds of excellent speakers will be presenting, and recordings of many of the sessions will be available for a year or more after the event. Roots Tech is the Black Friday of the genealogy world. Nearly every major company, not just Legacy, will offer their biggest sales of the year, often 50% or more off. If you've been waiting to buy a kit or a subscription or a product, March is the time to do it. One final note, I have not even mentioned two features of many of the tests, traits or health, and ethnicity or origins. While they may be of great interest to some of you, they are not so important for genealogy. Thank you for watching and have a great day. See you next time.